Hi guys, my name is Vuvu and this is Vuvu Vena Reads. So today, as the title suggests, I want to talk about my recent reads. So if you saw the video before my Alice Walker video, I was talking about my reading slump. And then after the Alice Walker video, I was talking about a few channel changes where I decided I'm not going to do so much TBR, if at all. I'm still contemplating, like, with a new format TBR, if I'm really that interested in doing it. I don't know if I am. However, because I'm not doing TBRs and because I've had a slump, I decided to just do some recent reads for you guys. So Kujuba, for some of you who might know him, it was I don't even know, I don't keep up anymore, the editor of Destiny Man magazine, and he's a South African based poet, and this is quite an old book. I want to say, like, it was like in the early 2004 or 2005. Yeah, he wrote these poems in 2004, and this little publication by Monster Funk Productions was published in 2005. So basically the whole idea behind the collection of poetry that he's got here is from a black man writing about love. That's the whole idea behind the title, and they say black men don't write love poetry. I found it refreshing when I did read it. It was over some Sunday afternoon. I was home alone with the kids, and I thought, okay, fine, since I'm sick and tired of Disney, I might as well pick something up to just peruse. And I really actually found it quite refreshing, and it would be interesting to know how he's grown as a poet, because obviously I don't think he still writes this way, but there were quite a few. I think I pictured one of the poems that I did enjoy on my Instagram. So yeah, that's the one book. To Stir the Heart by Mungu Waitongo and Bessie Head. Now, I'd never read anything by her, and this was a refresher. I feel like if you want to introduce yourself to any author that you've heard a lot about, and if they've got short stories, I think that's the best way to introduce yourself. Obviously, I'd heard a lot about Mungu Waitongo when I was in university. He came for a talk the one time, and I found him to be quite intriguing and quite talented. So I wasn't, I didn't have any, it wasn't unknown turf for me when I went into this collection of short stories. However, in this particular collection, I do think that Bessie Head wins hands down. I know it's not a competition, but her, I want to say poems, wow, her stories really like resonated with me the most, and I enjoyed her craft. I enjoyed her talent in the writing, and I don't know, I think it was quite two totally different but similar authors, and talking about similar things, love and that kind of stuff. Let me read you the back here. It says, two modern African masters portray powerful, resilient women braving the provocations of hope and love. Bessie Head, Botswana's preeminent writer, and Mungu Waitongo, one of the most significant East African writers, explore African cultures at the intersection of tradition and modernity, colonialism and independence. Their four stories are linked by their portrayal of women who fight not only to survive but to succeed on their own terms as they demand the right to marry or not, to earn a living, and most importantly to be respected. So this is actually the best summary, because then it does delve into the woman's place in an African and patriarchal world, as well as in a world where they have to question their standards of beauty and how they come about. So the collection, I think, was selected on similarities of topics that have been delved into, or themes that have been delved into in the various short stories. I enjoyed it. It was a quick read, and yeah. And I was shocked to find that actually Bessie Head was actually born in South Africa before she moved, and that was also quite inspiring. Loved it. And then let's talk about Dear Summer. So I got this book from the author. I met her at a work event, and we happened to be talking and she mentioned that she is a self-published South African author, and she has a debut book which happens to be a self-help book. And when she found out that I am a book blogger, she asked if she could give me a copy of her book. So I took a copy of her book and I read it in practically one sitting, if you analyze that. And I do have a review up on my blog on this one. It's www, I'll link it down here and in the description box, but it's www.vuvuvenareads.com. I give an in-depth review on what I thought of the book, and basically, oh, let me tell you what, guys, I don't even give you the stars for these books. So basically I gave this book 2 stars, and let me tell you what the other stars were. So if you want to hear a bit more about this, please go over to my blog. I gave Cujo's book 3 stars. So I also gave To Stir the Heart 3 stars. So this book, guys, was like my first 5-star read of the year. No, that must have been Origin, but okay, it was one of my 5-star reads of the year. It left me with a book hangover, as you already know, but what was so spectacular about this book is that it reminded me, and I assume it reminds everybody that reads it, about the power of what lies within us in terms of our ability to choose how we live our lives, our ability to ignite and flame each other's magic, as well as our ability to see good in the next person and treasure it and bring it out and keep it burning. And reading it actually made me sad, because it made me realize that in fact so many of us have forgotten that magic within ourselves, but sometimes even when we know of it inside of ourselves, we have neglected to bring it out from those around us. So we've all been hurt, we've all had our dramatic instances, and I think that in the moments where we realize that we now want to rise, I feel like it's important that we are surrounded by people who will allow us to do just that. So I was so taken by this book that I didn't review it when I finished reading it. So if you guys do want to see a review on my blog or on this channel, please do comment down below. But this is not a review, this is just to let you know what I just recently read and why I loved this book so much. This is one of my 5-star reads of the year, and I really love it for that basic reason. It's something that reawakens something in everybody, and sometimes, and especially because of how the world is today, you need that reminder of something incredible lives within each and every one of us, despite our backgrounds, despite where we come from, despite how we look, all of those kind of things. So this is something very powerful, and I think it's a book that I will go back to time and again, and I love that it's gonna be a series. So the second book is coming out next year. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Looking forward to this. So let's go into those ebooks, guys. Let me first say to you, it took all of me. Like, whoo, God knows these ebooks were not made for me, sweet Lord. It took all of me to read 2 ebooks back to back. Like, how I did it? Maybe that's a testament on how great a writer Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie is. Can we just listen? What a wow. What a wow. So the first book I read on ebook format from Chimamanda was Half of a Yellow Sun. So that was my other 5-star read of the year. I gave it 5 stars, guys. Like, I couldn't believe that somebody could get me so wrapped up in characters that are living in wartime. Okay, maybe not say wartime, because the setting is wartime Nigeria. Something that wartime nothing actually. No, let me not lie. Like wartime Germany, like those common wars that everybody knows about. Second World War, First World War, like American type of war situations. Those things intrigue me because I feel like I can separate myself from them. But African wars or African conflict or things of that nature, those things, I think they I didn't know until now that they actually, whew, they cut very deep. And I read this book and I was just fascinated by her crafting of these characters, guys. Like, and then never mind all of that, the story that then ensues from, like, how like, the thing with great writers is that you will ask that question chapter after chapter after chapter, not of the storyline itself specifically, but just of the craft and the writing, and you sit there and you're like, how like how anyway, I've also reviewed this book on my blog. Like I said, my blog is down below in the description box, and I will put it up here for you guys to go and visit that. But that was my second 5-star read of the year. And then the last ebook that I read by Ngozi Chimamanda Adichie was Purple Hibiscus. This happens to have been her debut novel. Another how moment for me. I didn't love it as much as I loved Half of a Yellow Sun, I must be honest with you guys. I gave this 4 stars, and I felt like even in my 4-star rating, that was me being generous. But I had to keep in mind that this was a debut novel, and for a debut, this was well done. She did a very interesting juxtaposition between 2 classes or lifestyles within the same family, and she tackled a subject that I feel like is quite difficult to engage with in terms of content and trying to make your point, and that is religion. And she did a good job, guys. Like, I don't fault her. I got her from page 1 to the last page. I understood exactly what she was talking about, and for me it was quite interesting to have a book talk about class, religion, and abuse all in one, and be centered around the black family, the black African family. For me, that was very interesting, and how she navigated those 3 subjects was quite phenomenal. I love how the story played out. I love the relationships she created. I love the characters that she made. I love the perspective that it's in. She really, I feel, did an exceptional job for her first novel. However, having read Half of a Yellow Sun, I'm also appreciative of how she has grown, and you just see it in her character formulation that she has truly honed in her craft, and she is just amazing. It's amazing, and it's, for me, I feel like part of the journey of reading is also seeing how the author grows along with you. As the more of their content you consume, the more you can say the former author has grown into whatever it is that you are saying right now. And I feel like that growth is important because it allows us to venture into new perspectives from the same person. So she's really done an exceptional job. So that brings us to the end. My recent reads, this was in no way like a review, it's just to let you know that, hey, your girl's been reading again, and it's been exciting. And those are the books that I've managed to read. So I do hope that I will be able to read some more books before the year is over. I will do a December wrap up because, like I said, I did read a book already this month. Imagine that, guys, and it's only like, what, the 2nd. This girl on the money, on the roll. Thank you so much once again for watching, guys. I love you very much for tuning in, and please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.